and pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Any conflicts of interest to declare at this time? I have none. Matt, do you have any?
Negative.
Good. All right, approval of the February 2nd, 2026 agenda.
Move to approve?
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the January 5th meeting minutes.
Move to approve?
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, finance officer, what you got for us?
Alright, so, our disbursements this month, our total is $19,135. It is of special note that $13,330.40 of that is the paying off of the USDA rural development loan. So that is a significant portion of that large amount of money going out this month, which was approved at the January 5th meeting. But if you have any questions about it, again, my printer took a dump today, so I've got it on here, but I will have it printed out later. If you would like to see it, it's there.
And we paid that out of the enterprise fund, so that came out of water.
Yep.
The water fund.
And when you say paid off, that means no longer
It is gone.
debt is gone.
It is
Beautiful.
paid off and done.
That's one of the 3 debts that we had.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that was a debt from 1997.
And then,
We were failing to satisfy the requirements of the loan, specifically the reporting of the, just all of the technical aspects of it.
the nuances of it.
Correct.
And then we decided, because we didn't want to get underneath those nuances for what, 12 months or something?
4 years.
4 years.
4 more years.
We just said, let's pay it off, and then so, that way we don't have to deal with the nuances, that we had the capacity to do it, so.
Yeah.
All right.
I did have a question for the board.
Oh yeah.
We got our renewal request for the South Dakota Municipality Association, I think is the exact name of it.
Yeah.
I did some research and I'm not finding any major benefits for us other than it posts like contact information for the board basically, which is way out of date anyways already.
Okay.
As it's been posted there, and so I'm just looking for direction if you guys want me to renew that and update information, or
It's just a,
It's for the rural communities, the South Dakota rural communities.
right,
Yeah.
but it's just contact information of
Yeah, it's a
everything.
lobbying, it's
found-
another lobbying network.
it's a lobbying
SDN.
network, and we pay them to do their thing here.
Yeah, but
And I'm not finding a whole lot of benefit. I
for us,
did a
probably.
fair amount of research into it. It's not like it provides any kind of insurance. It's not like it provides any support in covering fees of different things. It doesn't benefit us much.
And they haven't contacted us on any legislation that's in Pierre that would
No.
potentially impact us, which I know there is some in Pierre, because I'm there quite often,
Right.
and if they're not telling us, and that's what we're paying them for, I agree, no payment to them.
I haven't seen a thing, and it's not that much, but it's enough that it's, I mean, it's like, I think it's $253 or something like that a year, but it's
Yeah,
money that
And
I don't see.
with a
benefit
third
from.
class municipality, typically, they're not really representing us anyway.
yeah.
They're representing the first and second classes,
Yeah.
so those bigger communities, so,
So no,
nah,
okay,
I'm
yep,
good with it.
I
Save
will not.
money.
renew that.
Alright, so, let's see, we need a motion to pay the bills.
move to pay the bill?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
And motion carries. Alright, Matt, you have any mail call complaints or issues to address other than the rural communities?
Other than that, no.
Alright. Okay, so, I'm still, helping Matt transition, so the 2025 financial,
books had to be closed out, and then, an audit was done of the 2025 payroll. There were some minor discrepancies that were found in that audit. There were some employees that were, overpaid, some employees that weren't paid correctly. And so with all of that, we have the documentation on especially the documentation that affects the general fund. Those corrections have been made, the employees have been notified, and so, if anyone's interested in to know exactly what that information is, we're not gonna have that discussion here. You can come to the office on Wednesdays and look at that paperwork if you're interested. And then, 2025 year-end report, so every year we have to make a report to the legislative auditor, on our revenues and expenses and how we spent taxpayers' money and how we spent our bond money. So that report has been completed, and it has not been submitted to the legislative audit yet because the board has to approve that report. It doesn't even have to be submitted till May, but for a cash basis, it's fairly easy to do. We know where our cash is, so so what I'll do is I'll give it a month to marinate in the public, and then we can approve it next month to send it. But just letting everyone know, and it'll stay posted on the community board. And if anyone is interested in digging into the details of it, because it does take it to a high level view, again, on Wednesdays, Matt and I are usually there, you can come and look at all the details of it. Or if you want a copy of it, you're welcome to have a copy of it. But it's complete, and it balances. We ended the year with a total cash balance of $246,451.67. And that's a combination of all the different funds that we have and that also includes our bonds. So.
One more thing under that, I'll put up the post on the window, but I will not be in on Wednesday the 18th. Instead, I'll be in on the 19th, or sorry, 16th. I will be in Monday instead of Wednesday in the third week of this month. I'm going to be in Peter that week, so I'll be in Monday.
All right, water and sanitation department. Hey,
Well,
Todd.
water's going good right now.
Good.
And I've got the deficiencies are all fulfilled. New screens are all on everything. I do have some screen left. I will put some on the community center vents
Oh,
that
okay.
Ray requested. I have got plans and stuff, so I'll get that taken care of yet.
All right.
But that stuff's all good and we're all current. I go in Thursday to take my exam for my second class time because I did not have the exams there this last week when I went through the classes. So I will be in Rapid on Thursday, get that taken care of for my second exam for collection.
All right, and I do have stuff for you, so,
Okay.
After the meeting, and then I have some meters that the, device did not pick up this month. It's the same offenders, and we're adding another one. And I went by, that resident's place a few times, so who knows what's going on with it.
Okay.
I'll let you take care of it.
Yep.
And then the flow meter, Jordan said he talked with you yesterday.
It was a couple days, it was
Couple days
it was
ago.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because we had a power flicker
Uh-huh,
and so the well shut off. I was in class, I had notification about it. I come down to take care of it. I couldn't get it to come back on. So I called Jordan
oh, yeah,
and I ended up having to switch the main power off and back on. And then I reset the pump saver so I could get it all set and then hit the reset button and everything.
yeah,
And Jordan said when he comes out, we're gonna change that out to where anytime we have a power flicker or stuff like that, we won't have to go up and manually set the well, automatically redo it.
yeah.
So,
Yep, he just said that he's gonna get on the schedule with you for February,
Yep.
and he has the rest of the parts.
Yep.
So, good. That's outstanding. Alright, and then water loss report is about 16% this month, so we had a loss of around, I'm rounding for the sake of numbers, but about 40,000 gallon loss.
a good portion of that could have been the divers.
That's right, I forgot we had the inspection, so, but
Because
16% is still acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, they were pumping a lot of water out,
Okay.
cleaning that
I
underground
forgot
tank.
about them.
Oh, they were cleaning a tank, so.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
they came this month and, because we budgeted, we had to have a tank clean every 3 to 5 years, and the below ground was
Below
this year.
ground was this year, above ground's next
Above
year.
ground is next year.
And when we go for, sign up for next year, we need to make sure to put in the cathodic bars.
Yep,
Cause he told me, he goes, make sure you tell them about that, just tell them you want them replaced.
okay,
They'll go in and they'll dive, they'll look at it, if they're still good, we can make the choice to have them replaced or not.
alright, I'll add
But
it to
I told him,
the
as
notes.
the age that they are, I'm pretty darn sure they're gonna need to be replaced, so.
Most likely.
And then question about, railroad, I've made contact and sent the information over.
Nothing else from them, I have not received any information whether people have noticed if they've connected or not to the hydrant. Typically Sarah will see them connect, but
I just know in that email, he did say that he would reach out to us if they ever have a
Yeah.
desire to use that, hydrant over
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
Because whenever I sent over what our water ordinance says, that we have to be the ones doing it, so it
Mhm.
seems like they were like, okay.
yeah.
I'm
That's
looking at April is when we're gonna have the water expo in Rapid City and
Uh-huh.
stuff, I'm looking at maybe going to that expo,
Okay,
and that would be a good contact for getting a meter for the hydrant.
and we do have training, budgeted for Todd, so we can
Yep.
use training dollars. So Todd, whatever those dates are and what the cost is, just let us know, and then we'll make sure
Yeah.
that you get,
Get the registrations.
I got a paper in my pickup from class, they had it on there.
Okay, good.
But I'll get that, so,
Yeah,
but that's
so-
April, that's in April, so.
and then make sure we get you
But that-
signed up for that.
That's where we got our contact to get in touch with, Wind Water to get all the new meters and everything like that, was going to that expo.
Yeah,
So-
that's a good one to go to. Okay, so I need to back up to the finance officer. So, only because I reached out to the auditor to find out where where we were in the audit process for 2024. So the town came under an audit in 2024 for the financial records, and what he stated was that at the current time, the special review is still active and in the hands of the legal process. At this time, we are unable to discuss specific details, however, we will meet with and discuss the special review as soon as we are able to discuss this publicly. So that's the update on the ongoing audit. That's all I have and know. So I needed to give that information. Okay, nothing that we need to approve in water, so we're good, and I have your folder here, I'll give that to you afterwards. Alright, roads, streets, grounds, and mowing. Steve,
Don't really have anything. Jordan hasn't contacted me yet about the, heater for the truck, the
Uh-huh.
heater core. Other than that, don't really have anything.
do you know if he gave you if he has an estimate for that?
Well, like I told you before, he guessed somewhere around 1,500, but without getting into it, taking the old one out, what it's gonna take to do that,
Mm-hmm.
it's still up in the air, really.
Yeah, so we'll just have to make sure that we,
He did say
Have
the
good-
heater core was like 185,
yeah,
and, Big A, or CarQuest, whatever, I think they're the ones that ordered it.
okay.
And he should have it, but he hasn't contacted me yet as to when he's gonna be able to do that.
I didn't,
So I don't, other than that, like I say, it's still in the air as to what kind of a hassle it's gonna be to get the old one out.
alright, so here is what we have to be aware of, in maintenance and repair. So, last year we had quite a bit of maintenance and repair that was very much needed. And so we ended up spending a pretty good amount in streets, highway and streets, let's see. I wanna put it in perspective for a minute. So we spent $15,155 in highway and streets last year, which the bulk of that was with maintenance and repair of the equipment. It was needed. This year, we only budgeted $8,200 in streets, so we do have to be more conscious about how we're, spending that $8,200. That includes everything, from mowing, everything, and maintenance and repair, so just kinda have to keep an eye on that, on how things are going with that.
As far as the equipment goes, I don't think there's gonna be a whole lot that we're gonna have to do for maintenance on it, like, I mean, we still got a couple cylinders dripping, that type of thing, but, unless we go through more hydraulic oil, that kind of stuff, I don't think there's anything major that's gonna have to be done with it.
Alright, good. Alright, anything else?
Can't think of anything else.
Alright, good. Building maintenance, anything on building
I
maintenance?
haven't got to it, anything. I've had a busy month dealing with family issues.
God, it's okay. How's mom doing?
There,
Okay, good. Alright, animal control.
Well, I don't really have anything to report as far as complaints are concerned.
Okay, good.
17th of January, we did have our public meeting and we had one public
One public member there. Yep.
one public member there. And we're just in the process of code revision,
Alright,
and we did have a productive meeting, though, we did get a lot done.
Very productive. Waiting to hear feedback from those that were there. Probably by the end of this week, then I'll draft up what we talked about. If there's no additions, I'll draft up what we talked about. Probably have another meeting to see if it covers everything that we wanted it to cover, and then we'll bring it and present it to the board.
okay. And we're calling it, is it still gonna be called animal control ordinance?
It'll probably be animal control ordinance something or other.
We'll just keep calling it that until then.
Until it changes, for sure.
Revised from the 26th version.
Yeah.
Alright. I'm just checking the calendar here because,
And whatever we bring here, we'll talk about it here in a meeting before we send it to the lawyers to review, to make sure that we're covered legally on the stuff that we've talked about. But we just wanna make sure that there's no further input or concerns before moving it.
I do have one thing to inquire, to ask about. There was a comment on our Facebook site the other day. Somebody was talking about feral cats, or a bunch of cats down here in town, and they were speaking out about neglect and abuse and this, that, and the other. What do we do? And Kathy Sanford got on there and said, call Margaret. Well, nobody's called me, but and I don't necessarily know that those cats down there are feral. Some of them belong to that house down there at the end of the street,
yeah,
but I don't know if they're feral. I don't know. I'm not so sure that they're feral, but it's kind of like, what do you do with cats? How do you keep a cat in your yard?
Is there a black and white one and a red one? I
They
wouldn't
did
say,
not,
I don't think they're feral, cause I see them on my cameras all the time.
they did not say what color the animals were. They didn't give any details. They're just kind of, talking about, who do I report neglect and abuse to? These cats are terrible, and it's like, and they didn't even specify cats. It's just, so I couldn't figure out what they're talking about, and so nobody ever called me. So it's kind of like, okay,
not
They
that
don't
you
call
can
you.
do if they don't call
Can't
you.
do
if they
nothing.
don't call me, I can't do anything. That's correct. So
Alright,
And the county, animal control, if they get a call, they're gonna ask if they called Margaret first, so, and
That's
they're
good.
expecting a call from Margaret rather than the individual.
yeah,
yeah, we did make that clear too. So, I don't know, I don't even know if we wanna deal with cats.
No.
I don't think so. I just wanna keep it with
I think the town dealt with cats at one time, and we may have an ordinance or something on that already, so.
They did deal with it. They had a couple people doing some live trap on them,
Mhm.
and then they take them up to Hot Springs.
Okay. Community Center Committee, I don't have a report other than, breakfast is February 14th.
Valentine's Day.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah. Free will giving. Park Committee, not here. Alright, Board of Trustees, let's see. Mail call, complaints, issues to address, I don't have any. Do you have any? No.
Mhm.
I don't know that we'll be in the same place at the same time this coming month. So no meeting, notice of, March 11th, but we'll have a board meeting before then, so, and that's a special meeting. So that's good.
Yep.
That agenda's already been published, so,
Um,
and then,
can we talk about that for just a second? I don't think we need to
Yes,
put old business on there, I think it's just, you know, it's a special meeting solely for the purpose of, you don't have to put old business. I think
Alright.
it's just for,
so we just
Yep.
take it off. Sounds good.
because it's its own special hearing.
Okay, and then nomination packets, the window opens today. And it's open all the way through March 24th. I have petitions here if anyone's interested. If we run out, I can either send you to the website or you can come by the office and pick up a copy. So that is for 1 3-year term. It's would be Vice Ray Hussey. So and if there is more than one candidate, the election will be the first Tuesday in June. And then, okay, moving on to old business. Man, I'm moving right along. Love this. Alright, proposal to open First, Cedar, and Poplar Streets. As you mentioned, there will be a special meeting held on March 17th.
Well, is it 17th or the 11th?
Is it the 11th? I think it's the 11th.
I thought it was the 11th, but then I was like, I just read
If it's
that.
on the agenda the 11th, then it's the 11th.
Yes, it's the 11th.
Yeah, so that's already been published in the paper that way, so that's good. It was correct, so, okay. And that meeting will be held and there is an agenda already that's been published. That meeting is being held to discuss the petition that was received to open, First Cedar and Poplar Streets. Travis sent over, a survey, so he did get a completed survey back on that area where the petition has asked for the town to open.
Was that what you were looking for?
Yeah, so we have this record of survey, and so he sent the survey over to the attorneys for review along with the petition. And, our main concern, one of the concerns with the survey is there is quite a bit of encroachment on the survey. And so this specifically inquired to, and you can talk about this, but he specifically inquired to the encroachment and what is it that the town would be required to do. So if you'd like, you can
Nope, that's fine.
take it away.
Yep, pretty much, you know, this is the survey, this is what is asked. Again, if you've paid attention to it, we had the petition, and we took it seriously. We reached out to find out what it would cost to do my goodness, I can't think of what it's called, a feasibility study. It would cost $47,000 just to do a feasibility study, which takes into consideration the surveys of the town and what then has to be done. If there's encroachments within the right of way, what has to be moved to meet the requirements to put in the road that the petition required. So that's where we're at in that feasibility study, getting the very first pieces of it before you even talk to the company to do the feasibility study. You have to have other things on the ground ahead of time before that. With that stated, seeing the encroachments on there, my property is impacted, so I mean, I'm not hiding anything, but there's other properties that are impacted. So then we reach out to our attorney, the town attorney, and said, this is the issue, what do we have to do? And there's 3 options of what we have to do with any encroachments in town rights of way. One is to demand removal of the encroachment pursuant to the authority under SDCL 930-2, or we allow the encroachment to remain and enter into an agreement with the owner of the encroachment that lays out the relative rights and obligations of the owner and the town. Or 3, which is the last option, vacate the right-of-way, but only upon filing of a petition and consent in writing of all the owners of property adjoining the section to be vacated. If the property owners file a petition to vacate, there are many other steps that the town must follow in order to vacate. See South Dakota Codified Law 9-45-7 through 13.1. When considering this option, the town must also consider what impact, if any, right-of-way vacation will have on a property owner's ability to access adjoining property. So those are what the lawyer came back that said that what we must do. And so that's part of the reason why we're having the March 11th meeting, is to address and show what we've got from the survey and what the lawyer's, recommendation is to the town, so that we can move forward and figure out how to remove as much liability from the town as possible. Any questions? I saw your hand, I didn't know if you had a question, cause your hand is up.
I'm scratching my head a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't know,
Sure.
I just didn't know if it was a question or if you
Well,
were just
that's
kinda like,
a-
whoa.
So the encroachment, you're talking about growth and stuff, or?
No, it's
People's buildings.
buildings. So, you know, everyone knows that my building is in the middle of the right of way for First Street. There's a couple of others that were annotated on here, I'm not gonna call anybody out, but it's available for you guys to see who's got encroachments where. And it's not just my property, it's other property in the town.
Sorry, we'll have to speak up.
Yeah, now you have to speak up.
Can we turn that heater off?
We can, I just don't want anyone to.
I'd rather hear you than, I'd rather be cold than be able to hear what's going on. Who paid for the survey? Is the town paying for that survey?
The town did pay for that survey. It was,
Paid.
the town paid for it. It was approved before we even came on board.
Yeah.
The previous
The
board
actual
was.
survey.
Sure, yeah, this, the
And
record,
the survey is complete. There it is.
for this, for the area that the petition was discussing, yes.
These streets are all platted and plotted and everything, and have been since day one, right?
For over 80 years, yes.
This feasibility study. The streets are there, they're plotted, and it costs $45,000.
$47,000. Again, platted does not mean it's a built street. To build a road, if you're gonna build it to put in a truck route, there's requirements to make a truck route. That's the petition that we're addressing, to make a truck route. And a truck route has very specific requirements.
Petition is only for a truck route,
Yep.
That's-
not just to open it up for Sunday drives.
That's correct.
Truck route only.
That's correct.
That's what the petition says.
And this feasibility study gets us, besides a $47,000 bill, I mean, tells us,
The soil studies, how much gravel you're gonna have to put in, do you have enough right of way? If you don't, what you're gonna have to do is condemn or essentially government take land to meet the requirements, to meet the right of way requirements for the truck route, which is 80 feet. So this is establishing already, we don't have the 80 feet for where the truck route is to be. So then there's gonna be some takings if we wanna move forward with that, which means, because if you're gonna put in the truck route, you have to expand the right of way in certain areas.
so this street's gonna be a truck route, not just a street.
Per the petition, we're meeting the intent of the petition that was
Yes, I
given.
want it to be clarified that
Yep.
the petition is for a truck route,
That's correct.
not just good old Poplar Street.
Yep, that's what it says.
That's what it says.
It says for truck traffic, so that it'll clear the truck traffic through the town roads. That's exactly what it says.
That's, I guess I,
Yep.
Any further? Any further
Yeah,
questions?
Little Poplar
and
Street.
like I say, this is
20
still a
feet.
city street, it's not a county.
It's actually not it's a platted city
Yeah,
road.
it's not even a street yet.
It's not a street.
It's platted,
It's platted.
got a name. It just doesn't have any gravel,
Right, it
and it's got a
doesn't,
few buildings in the middle of it.
Correct.
yeah,
Other than that, it's a street. It's got a
It's
name.
platted. It's not a street.
it's not a street.
You can't use it as a street. It's not.
Not until there's gravel down,
You
it's been
can't-
graded,
it's-
it's not a street.
Yeah, there's no street.
Right, but for 45,000, we could buy a lot of gravel and turn it into a street. Like I say, it's got a name, it's drawn on the map,
It's not
right?
that easy, cause
Alright.
in order for it to be a truck route, it's gotta meet certain state codes. So you just
Even though
can't,
it's a city street.
it isn't, so, it's a street, it's a platted street. Regardless if it belongs to the town of Buffalo Gap or not, it's a platted street. And so the petition states that they want to divert truck traffic down Poplar to First Street,
No, I think it's Cedar.
to Cedar, yeah,
Cedar
down
to First.
Cedar to First. but they want all the streets open, Poplar, Cedar, and First. And so they're just wanting to divert the truck traffic that way. Well, in order to do that, a feasibility study has to be done, because you just can't go build a street without the EPA's input. You
The
can't go build.
EPAs.
That's right, that's what your feasibility study does. It looks at, you know, even if the compaction of the dirt, if it's sound, like there could be a sinkhole in there, we can't build a street over a sinkhole that we don't know about. So that study does touches all different components that would be required to build a street. The EPA, probably DANR,
The highway
the
department,
highway department, the county. So
they have to deal with drainage.
you have to, easements, then you gotta rebuild
Were those
utility
streets
easements.
ever open
No,
No.
never
Never.
have they been opened.
Never.
since
The dawn of time, they've never been opened.
they've been on the map with a name, but never opened?
They're only on a survey map. If you look at a town of Buffalo Gap's map, they're not on that map. So,
But they
And
show,
even if it were in a truck route, there's still the requirements to turn those
That's
into a street.
exactly
You
right.
can't just dump gravel and call it a street.
yeah, you have to have an 80-foot right of way.
I mean, it sure looks to me, does the street basically go through the brush pile down there?
The
Well,
street,
that's Cedar Street,
That
yeah.
is
Yeah, that would be
This
the,
is
That's
one of the
directly
ones we're
south of
talking
my
about, right?
house.
yeah,
This is
Right,
one of
that's
the
one
ones.
of the ones,
Yeah.
yeah.
It sure looks, is that where the railroad track went down there?
That's the
That
railroad
used to be
track,
the
yeah, the
railroad
spur
track.
used to go through there, out Cedar, and then you can still
That's-
see the berm, it went up to Hot Springs.
yeah.
But that's, the train went through there at one time,
Yeah.
okay, so it held up a train.
don't
We
make-
can say all we
Yeah.
want, but without
make the
someone
rules.
actually doing a study, what we say means
Yeah.
nothing.
We don't make the rules.
No, no, I'm just
Yeah.
checking, it just seems to me like a lot of feasibility studies to open up a street that's already there.
The street's not already there. The street does not go all the way through to connect to First Street, and First Street is not opened all the way through. So it has to have a study by law in order to do that. We just can't go open up the street.
That's what I
So
just
we're just
trying
trying
to
to,
understand.
yeah, we're trying to meet the intent of the law. If we want it to be an alley, that's a different story, but we're talking about a truck route. It has a whole different set of codes
Is
to
there a
meet.
difference between a truck route and a regular route then, or regular?
There's no difference really, other than the truck route has a wider clearance. It requires 80 feet.
I know this street kinda goes straight down, right between my little
It
yard and house.
does, yeah,
So, I seen that a long time ago, I already know what's on it, but
yeah.
yeah,
You
if they're,
have some of that too, where you have a
I
street
don't know
that
if
goes
that's
through your
considered a
property.
truck route or city street, but
no, it's a platted, what they could have put a road in, if they ever decided to use it, they could tell you, if you got something in the way, move it, we're putting a road through here. But it doesn't make sense for the town to even look at that, because it goes into a field and the town doesn't own what's past.
And we have a truck route. We have 2 truck routes that were designated by the county. And we benefit from the county designating those because we get money from the state for those pieces of roads that go through our town, but the county maintains those roads. So they maintain all the requirements for that truck route. That's right, here and then 4th Street to Main is our truck routes. So the county's already designated 2 truck routes through the town. It's clean. We don't need to go down Cedar to First, kind of make a jog over, remove the grain bins because we want a truck route. We'll have to remove the whole feed store if we want a truck route. I mean, there's things that have to be looked at. There's not, the clearance
So
is not.
basically, the word that's getting us in this petition is truck route.
That's what the
That's
petition
what the
says.
petition
Just,
says.
I'm wondering.
But even if we want, even if someone said, we want a street, the clearance is still not there for a street.
But we could get an alley.
There's already alleys there. The alleys are already marked. And alleys are not First, Poplar, or Cedar, so those are already
Those are
designated
streets.
streets, yeah. So
So what is
there's,
a street?
there are already alleys in between those streets, and the town owns those alleys.
And they also own the streets, right?
Town owns the streets, that's right.
But they're not
We own
traveled.
the strike, they're not traveled
None of those have been
streets.
traveled in.
Nope.
Traveled or not traveled, the town owns them.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your question on that?
Yeah.
I'm just, one sentence it's a street, the next it's not a street.
What do you mean? They're not streets, you can't go drive your car on them right now.
Well, I bet you we could find somebody that'd get through there.
Oh, through a fence?
Oh, yeah, you can drive through a fence all you want.
You can't drive through these streets right now. They're only sitting on a GIS map as a name. So let's not get into the eaches
Well,
of a street or
Like
not.
I say, I'm just trying to,
Okay.
I'm just trying to understand here.
They're not developed. Let's use that term. They're not developed streets.
Okay. How about all these other alleys in town that are overgrown and you
That
can't
is
drive?
not part of this initiative.
All right, I just
So-
wondered,
If there's issues with the alleys or something that the town isn't, that should be maintaining, or there's a reason to have an alley, then that needs to be discussed separately from this topic.
just,
I did see another hand in the back. Perry,
Yeah, Perry?
did you have a question?
Is there a rationale or a premise behind the proposal? I have not heard the who and the why and the what. So can someone expand on that a little bit, please?
My name is not on the petition. There's a lot of people who signed a petition for whatever reason to do this. I don't know why. I could make some educated guesses, but I'm not gonna try to assume what somebody's intent was. I think somebody's intent, well, I'm not gonna say that.
Well,
All we have is
So
the
we're not-
petition, Perry,
we're
of
not
what they
sure.
asked for, and there's no reason. It's not like, we want this because, it's just, we want this.
well, there is that possibility that reasonable, rational minds might find it worth doing if they heard the proposal. On the other hand, reasonable, rational minds might say it's not anything we want, but we can't make a fair judgment without hearing all of there is to know about the proposal.
And that's a good point, Perry. That's the reason why we're doing the special meeting on March 11th. We've invited everyone that was on that petition to come forward, and maybe there is a rational reason of why they submitted and signed a petition. If they don't come forward with one, then that tells us that maybe it was just a flash in the pan request.
I see.
We are taking it serious because it was something that was done before we came on board. There was actions taken with the previous board that started this motion, and we're carrying it through so that no one can say, well, you just squashed it because you're the new board. We're taking it serious and willing to hear what they may have. If they don't come to the meeting and give us any ideas, then that kind of lets you understand that, Barry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
And so,
That's a good question, Barry, thank you.
so tail end on that, so let's say the meeting comes and no one comes with a reasonable reason for us to do this, does that mean it would be put to bed?
Well, then the board will have to make some determinations. The board still has to address what we're required to do by state law. So by state law, we're gonna have to make a determination, do we vacate rights of way that aren't being used, which, you know, in my opinion, that's what you typically do. We've done it in other cities and counties whenever something hasn't been used for multiple years,
Yes,
then you can do that.
Yes, sir.
Or you go into a contract with everybody who's got a violation into the right of way, which can happen. That doesn't usually turn out very good for individuals because it's a contract, and if a new board comes on, then they change the terms of it, and then maybe somebody gets hosed. Or the other one is
Or
you
you
tell,
have a sale
or you have a sale.
of the property.
And then the final thing is demanding removal of all these encroachments. Most of these encroachments, I can tell you, I've got the legal, look back through the Google Earth maps and stuff to show that some of these encroachments have been there over 20 years. State law looks at any encroachment that's been there greater than 20 years. You actually have somewhat of a right to say, it's mine, and if the government wants to make you tear it down, you're gonna have to get paid for it by the government. So, it's eminent domain, so then you're required to pay. And that's part of what the, that feasibility study does, is it looks through everything that is encroaching and says, okay, if you're gonna do this, this is also things you have to take in consideration. She's already said that, you know, dealing with the grain bins, if we move forward with it, if everybody says let's do it, we would have to value that whole feed mill, figure out how much it costs, and the town would have to pay her to condemn it, to put in the roads.
Because in
By law.
Because in 1927, the board of trustees of the town of Buffalo Gap vacated 20 feet each side of First Street, right there in front of the feed store, to 30 feet of each side of First Street, to the residing owners on the east and west side of First Street. So First Street is only 20 feet wide. So in order to put an 80-foot truck route, we will have to tell Sarah to move the feed mill. Does that doesn't seem reasonable, but the document is right here where the town vacated that land to those property owners. And it's on her deed. So, you know, those are things that have to be looked at in that meeting. And then these are things that we now have to address because the grain mill, and it's public knowledge, that is that's a large amount of the encroachment that we have to deal with, and it's a liability. So we have liability insurance, and potentially the city could be liable for any accidents that happens on our half of that property, even though it's her building. So those are the nuances that have to be dealt with now with the petition requesting that those roads to be developed and opened.
I think that covers it, unless there's any other questions.
I guess just trying to make sure I understand exactly, it's not set in stone, we're going to do this, but it is out there for.
Definitely not set in stone, we're set in stone to have a meeting about it.
Yes, sir.
To have a public conversation so that
Okay.
everyone who wants to be involved or come and give input can come and give input.
Got it.
And then after that, we probably won't even make a decision at that meeting.
Understood.
From that meeting, we take all that information, we put together, you know, either a package of what we have, what our options are at that point, and then come back to a regular meeting and make action. Unless, I could be wrong, but unless the meeting comes and everybody comes and says, well, I think this is the most appropriate thing to do, and everybody says that it's, you know, option A, till everybody tears their stuff out of it, then we have to, then as a board, we're gonna have to make a determination, is that the route we're gonna go? Because even if you do that, there's cost to that as well.
100%.
Yeah.
Thank you for explanation, sir.
Any other questions?
Good, alright. Water construction phase 2, still no word. The bidding, the contract award went to Black River, they're out of Somerset, South Dakota. That is still all we know.
I was gonna say, have they vetted them to the point, or they're still in that vetting phase?
Well, I haven't heard that they pulled the contract, so I'm assuming it's still going forward.
Okay.
Yeah. Or that they, you know, not met the requirements is what I should say.
Got you.
Who got the contract on it?
It's called Black River. They're out of Somerset, South Dakota. It's a better-known company from what I can understand.
Oh.
Yeah. Marine. Water outage communication plan. So this one's on me. I am going to ask that I take this from old business. There's just a lot of work that has to happen behind the scenes with this, and I'm going to work with the Midwest Hope Block. They've done this a lot for communities, and so they already have plans kind of in place that they can give us templates, and they provide that service to us for free. So
Did you say you talked to Hope?
yeah,
Okay.
Hope Block,
Okay, 'cause
yeah.
I talked her through that you know.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just and so I say we just use something someone else already has in place, and then it meets our needs, and we can just kind of remove that, and then when we're ready, bring it forward for review. So it's really just process is all it is.
So then we could just table it, and then it didn't have to stay on there, so I'd move to table
Okay,
until further, move to table until action's been taken to bring it, relevant.
mhm.
You would second.
And I'll second, I was writing first.
No, okay, fair enough.
Alright, I'll second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Alright, and then, citizen request to vacate alley bordering lots 27 and 28, block 10, and lots 29 and 30, block 10. Brett, that is your, that is the alley that runs north and south on your property. So are you still seeking to, work to vacate that, or leave it alone? You wanna,
I think that's what I'd like to do, yes.
okay,
Are you familiar with the process?
Not fully, no, not yet.
You're welcome to give me a call, I can tell you the statute that you have to look at and
Okay.
and meet the criteria of that statute. You have to do all the footwork, I mean, you have to know, you know, and you have to get your neighbor signatures of
Yes, sir.
individuals on either side of the right of way.
And you're talking the road that, or the alley that's vacated behind my house, correct?
Yeah, if you wanna, if
From
that's the
north
one
to
you wanna
south.
vacate, then, so whatever property is next door to yours on the other side of that alley, you have to draft a petition, so you have to have all that done first, and then you have to get their name and signature on it, between, what is that, block, 27 and 28, and probably 29 and 30, so
Yes, sir.
whoever's 29 and 30.
Okay.
There is an example, that we had, because I filed one, a while back,
we still have that in the files, I don't know if it was all electronic or not.
no, I handed hard copies,
Okay.
so, we can definitely get you a copy of one, because one has been turned in.
Okay.
So you
That'd be
can at least
helpful.
see the process.
That'd be great, sir.
You don't have to have a lawyer for it, but you do have to have a notary sign it.
Okay.
But I always recommend that you have a lawyer review it, make sure you have the right wording in it for that process.
Makes sense.
Because even though I drafted mine through planning and zoning, I still took it to a lawyer just to make sure I had everything right, because if something happened,
Okay.
you had a lawyer to fall back on. It might cost you more, but.
Probably less in the long run.
Yep.
Alright, so
Thank you,
we'll just
sir.
leave that as a,
And I would encourage you to come to the March 11th meeting as
I'll be
well,
there.
so you can hear some of the conversation.
I'd like to know that. Thank you, sir.
and that meeting is at 2 p.m.
Here,
It'll be in the building in here.
thank you.
Okay, and then on to new business. So, resolution number 2026-02. A resolution repealing resolution number 2019-01 dated July 1st, 2019 resolution of the town of Buffalo Gap to adjust water rates, which established charges for water meters in the town of Buffalo Gap, South Dakota. This is the first reading, so this that resolution will be, repealed. And what takes the place of it is resolution 2025-07, water utility rates. So it's cleaning up all the extra financial business that wasn't really necessary. And that's what the resolution states as well. So it's just cleaning it up, consolidating it into one resolution, and, that's it. Alright, so I need a motion on the,
Move to approve?
and I'll second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Alright, so permit for Buffalo Gap blowout fireworks.
So, I'll talk about this
We'll
since
let you
I
talk about that.
wanted it on there. I don't know if any of y'all know, if y'all went through for most of last year during 4th of July, I work with a fireworks company. I thought it'd be neat for the 250th. There's a big thing about the 250th. I can get some really good rates if the town of Buffalo Gap wanted to do a fireworks show in some way, shape, or form. The 4th of July, and in connection with Buffalo Gap blowout, something. That's all my thought process was with this, something to, you know, to like, hey, cool, let's have a big show with the town. So I put it on here just to see if there was any interest. in the town population for potentially having a fireworks show, and if that's true, put on by the town. If it's yes, then great, I can work through that process. If no, then I won't worry about it. But I just put it on there to see if there was any interest or non-interest, and go from there. So all y'all are here tonight, so y'all get to give your input.
I say we work for the permit, I mean,
So one hand, I see two nods,
yeah.
3, 4. Any naysayers? Alright, so then
Yeah.
we wanna direct Matt to
Yeah.
research the permit that we would need as a municipality. And Matt, when you do that, just see if we have a block of dates, or if we have to pick a very specific date. Because if we have to pick a specific date, we might would want to have a conversation with the blowout committee, or the blowout time frame, if they would like to do it like the first night or the last night, whatever, if they want to, even want us to be a part of it. Maybe they don't, but I just figured, offer up a really cool show. If not, then the town can make a determination what night we would like to do them for the town. So that would be my motions, to direct Matt to do that initial research for the permit for fireworks in July from the town of Buffalo Gap.
And I'll second that, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Alright, alcohol, malt beverage, and wine ordinance, I looked through the ordinance book, I don't see one other than some very, very, very old ones that said you could sell it on Sundays. So, this is something that, no action needs to be taken now, but we do need to have one, especially when we have, entities come in, they request an alcohol license to have a temporary alcohol license to hold an event or something, so we do need to have something to set some, guidelines with that. Alright, in 22, policy for donations to private or nonprofit organizations. Travis, I'll let you talk about that one.
I own a nonprofit, so I know there's some guidance and regulations on this, and whenever we donate as a municipality, when we did it as a county, we always had to make sure that those nonprofits or any entities that we donated funds met certain criteria. So we probably should also draft a policy, if the town is gonna donate to an organization or anything of that nature, that they meet some minimum criteria. The fire department already meets that criteria because they're a fire district or a volunteer fire department that has to be registered with the state. So when we donate to there, it's not a big deal, but it at least puts this in a policy that we ask for the credentials that we need, and then we can make those donations from the town to that organization. Correct me if I'm wrong, the community center has got is an organization that's established,
They're not, they're a committee.
or a committee,
Belongs to
okay.
the town.
So, the policy could also incorporate anything like that, like the park committee and
Yeah.
that as well. So, it's a standard policy to make sure that, any entity that comes looking for money, then we have an opportunity to say, okay, we will consider it, but do you meet all these criteria? Before we just give money to somebody who says, hey, I'd like to have money for my kids, hiking group or something. It's just to kind of alleviate and gives a standardized policy of minimal requirements.
So we'll just draft that, and as we get the policy and we
Yep.
get it looked over, and then at that time we can seek approval to.
Do you want me to reach out to the lawyer about an alcohol malt beverage ordinance? Or do we have something
Let's see
already in
if they
mind?
already have something.
Okay,
There's probably, I'm sure there's a standard template.
there probably is, and we probably have one for the donations as well.
That's a good idea, to kind of give a jump start on it, and
That
then
way we're not recreating the wheel.
it sounds good.
Alright, then I'll reach out to them, I'd make that motion that I go ahead and do that.
Alright, and I'll second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Alright, next is, public time. This is a time for citizens to discuss issues of concern for the town of Buffalo Gap directly to the board of trustees. The amount of time for discussion or presentations can be limited by the president of the board. Individuals shall refrain from discussing personalities. No action will be taken by the board of trustees without first being placed on a future agenda. anyone have anything for public time?
I do.
Hey, what's up, Todd?
I'd like to do some investigating stuff or whatever to see about possibly getting a generator that would run our well in case we had a major power situation happen.
Yeah, we should discuss that in water department.
I'm
That's-
bringing it up right now in public time right now,
Yeah,
but no.
I appreciate that.
Are you thinking of something like a Generac or something like that that would be hooked up to a
Yeah.
large tank?
But yeah, have to, probably a 500-gallon propane tank or something like that. And it'd have to be bigger than, Generac, but it'd have to be larger size because that's a three-phase
Yeah.
pump and everything. So,
Do we have enough square footage up there to set it up there without having to do any?
Yes.
It's all in the right, yeah, it's
Yeah.
all, okay.
Yeah.
We
we could go right behind the well, right there, between that and the fence that's there.
okay,
You know, if we could set it right there, type thing. There'd be plenty of space for it that way, but
I know we've talked about this a few times, I think,
We have, and so, hey, do you know of any vendors or someone that could come out and give you some quotes for that?
I do not, but I could research it to find someone.
Why don't
Well-
you do that?
yeah, the guys that just did are gonna do our water meter, I bet you they have some very
Jordan,
specific, yeah,
yeah.
Jordan,
Yeah,
I bet you they have some points of contact.
yeah.
If not, I do know a guy at the, Rapid Valley Sanitation District, Rusty, that their director over there, I bet you he could give you all kinds of information. If you need his number, just let me know and I'll give you his number and.
Okay, yeah. I
Yeah,
just,
see if you can get like a quote on that, and then we'll,
yeah, first thing we had to come up with is try to figure out the horsepower on the pump. And I used to have it down here, but they got rid of it.
yeah.
And so I don't have the placard or anything about, from that anymore.
I bet Jordan can help you out with that when it
Yes.
comes to the install.
I was gonna talk with him when he come out to do the flow meter and do the stuff this month. I was gonna talk with him about some of that stuff, and see if he can help me figure that out too.
And if if they're not an electrician to install it, if he can say, well, I can recommend this to install, I do know an electrician who can install them, because, he's just installed like 3 or 4 generators for big entities just recently, so.
Okay,
Just
I'm
so you
just
know.
trying to look at backup situation for us, because, you know, that's kind of a lifeline for everybody in this town. If we have like that power outage, it happens for all them hours. We had plenty of water in the tank, it wasn't an issue then, but
Yeah.
if something goes out or we're without power for a long period of time, that well's gonna be very important to have power to it to keep it pumping water,
Exactly.
so.
Put a chain link fence around it. stuff like
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah, it'd be secured in.
Yep.
That's all I had, sorry.
All right, thanks. Anybody else? Anything? All right, there's no executive session. All right, need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Move to adjourn.
Second that, all in favor? Aye. And motion carries. Next meeting is March 2nd. Thank you.